So, my ex actually lied about vaccinating our daughter, and I learned something very shocking, and this does come complete with the update. Me and my ex split up before our daughter's birth. There was a variety of reasons for this that I won't get into here. One of them, though, was her anti-science beliefs. She's an anti-vaxxer and doesn't have trust in science or medicine at all. Well, this sucks because our daughter was born premature and immunocompromised. We have a 50-50 custody of her, but due to her condition and my wife's anti-science beliefs, we argue constantly on how to handle her. Well, recently our daughter has made incredible progress and last year was given the go-ahead to get vaccinated for certain viruses, including chickenpox and the flu. My ex went crazy about this and started making my life an absolute living hell, even threatening up to take down to court. Around this time, I also got a new job that paid a considerable amount of more money than my old one. When this happened, I decided I wanted to move my girl into a private school that has a program for immune-compromised children, and offered to pay 100% of the tuition. The only problem, for her at least, is that this school requires students to be fully vaccinated, up to their medically allowed limit in my daughter's case. My ex fought me up and down on this, and we did end up going to court. The judge agreed with me and ordered my daughter to be vaccinated. Well, ex had an absolute full breakdown melting, and in the end agreed only on the condition she gets to take her to, quote, lessen the emotional damage and make sure the doctor doesn't poison her. Well, I demanded medical forms confirming this and she agreed. So my daughter finally got vaccinated and last fall started at her awesome new school. Well, last week my daughter got incredibly sick, had to be rushed to the hospital straight from school. Well, last week my daughter got incredibly sick, right? Somehow she contracted chickenpox despite being vaccinated for it. I've been stressed out from the minute I got the call and confused as heck. How the heck did she get it? My daughter must have picked it up on this, and I thought I was mad at her. Because, well, when I was visiting her in the hospital, she decided to tell me the, quote, secret Mommy promised her to keep. Turns out, my ex did not vaccinate her. She made my daughter lie about that. Instead, she's been using, quote, special oils and salts to keep her from getting sick. What about the forms I got saying she was vaccinated? Ah, you guessed it. Fake. Phonies. I called the doctor and it turns out she never went in and he never signed any forms confirming she was indeed vaccinated. So my ex lied and faked forms to convince me she indeed vaccinated. I'm mad, to say the least. My daughter's in the hospital because my ex decided to let her beliefs come before our child's health. My ex, she doesn't know that I know yet, and I told my daughter not to tell her. I want her gone now. How do I approach this to make sure my ex suffers for this? I have the form she handed me and the text from the day she took her. I also have the doctor on record saying he never signed those papers, and the ones I have are in fact forged. I'm planning on speaking to a lawyer, but I would like to know what the heck I should do and what's going to happen next. Thank you guys for all the future advice. Update number 1. Wow, the last post got real popular it seems, for better and for worse. Seeing as you guys were interested in it, I thought I'd come back with an update. Well, a lot has happened since that day. My daughter's safe with me and was let out of the hospital just about a week ago. She's getting better every single day. I know, though, you guys want the full story, so here it is. After I made that post, I took the advice given to me, and the next time I saw my daughter, I told her that it was wrong of me to ask her to keep secrets, and that it's okay to tell her mom. Along with that, I saw a lawyer recommended to me by a trusted party. When I went to see him, he told me that this is, quote, a case lawyers salivate over, and that my ex is in a lot of trouble. I immediately filed for emergency custody of my daughter. I also got in contact with the doctor again, explaining the situation in more detail. He says that while he'll not be getting lawyers involved, that he wishes for me to submit the evidence to the police and file a report. Along with this, my lawyer has gotten into contact with the court that originally ordered us to vaccinate our daughter, and has handed over everything I gave him. He's advised me to stay quiet on this matter, so I'll leave it at my ex is in a lot of trouble with them. During this time, my ex started to get suspicious, right? Maybe it was because a friend of her told her about a post here, and she freaked out. I don't know, who knows. A few days later, when I saw her at the hospital, we had an altercation. She became hysterical, yelling various threats and insults towards me, including telling me that I want to, quote, poison our daughter right in front of our sick child. She was escorted out of the building, and the head nurse banned her from coming back. After this, she sent me a barrage of texts telling me that I'm a monster and that if she had vaccinated her, that she would be dead now. Well, of course, this was sent to my lawyer, as he put it. She's what lawyers dream of when they hear who's on the other side of the court. Outside of this, I've been advised to stay as quiet as possible, so I'll leave with this. This week, I received emergency custody of my daughter. Until our custody hearing later this year, I've heard that the DA is slowly getting ready to move forward with a multitude of charges against my ex. Well, it's probably going to land her in jail, soonish. And well, that's really it for now. I'm going to follow the advice given by my lawyer and say nothing else to anyone. I do not want the media involved in this for reasons, so I've left this as vague as possible. When all this is said and done, if their interest is still here, I may come again, but now, thanks for the advice in the original thread. Me and my daughter appreciate all of you. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. So there's one final update. It did take quite some time for this update to come out, as OP said in the last post that he's going to wait for everything to cool down before dropping it. Well, guys, here it is. Hello again, everybody out there. 3 years! Yeah, 3 years ago, I made a post about how my ex lied about vaccinating our daughter. Soon after, I gave an update and disappeared over the horizon. I'd completely forgotten about making that post, as the last few years dealing with the global pandemic and an immunocompromised daughter have aged me like 30 years. But I saw a post recently talking about my own post, and it came back like a ton of bricks. After wrestling to get back into this account, here I am. I hope you're all interested in this update still. Well, to give the short answer first, I have full custody of my daughter, yes. And my ex is barred from having any contact with her completely? Well, the long answer. My court battle between my ex and me was a grueling process, one of the worst periods of my life, truly. It took over 5 months from the time I got emergency custody to get full custody of my daughter. In retrospect, those 5 months were not as long as they felt, but they felt like the longest months of my life at that point. My ex's harassment at the time got even worse, even coming to my house and attempting to force herself in to take our daughter. She was arrested for this and charged with attempted forced entry. Before she could bail herself out, the DA decided to throw the book at her for forging the medical documents. She ended up spending a month or so in jail for this, which unfortunately got our custody case continued. The upside of this was I was given a protective order for me and my daughter out of this, one that bit her in the butt when we finally got in front of the judge. Well, I was given full custody of my daughter right then and there. My ex and her lawyer was so mad, and I guess they made the judge mad, by trying to claim that I planned this all from the get-go, forcing her into a corner to vaccinate our daughter so I could use her response to initiate said custody battle. Her actions, her upcoming hearing for committing felony forgery and forced entry, along with the protective order, convinced the judge that my ex was more than a danger to our daughter. She lost all custodial rights, and as of now is not legally allowed to contact her in any such form. My protective order was extended by 2 years as well, but I didn't need it, as it was only a few months later when she went to prison. My ex pleaded out. They dropped the forced entry charge, and she only got 2 years sentencing for prison for the forgery, but was still hit with the felony on her record. She was released early due to COVID, though. Since then, luckily, I've had absolutely no contact with my ex, outside of getting paid child support that I'm owed. I'm not really inclined to keep tabs on her personal life, but I know that she went off to the conspiracy deep end. She's now a full conspiracy supporter and is dating someone who was involved in the January 6th intersection. Other than that, she's disappeared from my daughter's life entirely. As for me and my daughter, the past few years have been a living nightmare. We moved to a new state and I had to put her into a fully online schooling. But I would say our lives have been pretty great. And amazingly, my daughter was able to get the COVID vaccine only a month ago and is cleared to go to physical school once the summer ends. This saga of my life has taught me many things. I'm grateful every day to have my daughter with me, safe, and in a place where she can slowly grow and get a little bit healthier day by day. It's kinda touching that so many people are interested in our life after all this time, and a normal guy like me and my daughter. I genuinely hope this is finally the last update. I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart for all the interest you guys showed me even 3 years after coming back. And, well, I guess I'll see you guys over the next horizon. Okay, so there was a lot of controversial comments, and I won't get into those because there's just no point. But I will read some of the promising ones. You're amazing, OP. I can only imagine how difficult the last few years must have been on you, and continue to be since the world has decided COVID's over. Your daughter's so lucky to have you. I hope you both continue to live your best lives. You're a great dad, and you did right by your daughter. Good luck moving forward. Well, there's also a lot of people hoping for an update. I saw about 8 comments saying, update please, update please. So I'll tell you guys right now, I'm watching this post very closely. If there's any updates that come out in the future, you guys will be the first to see it, I promise that. That's all the content I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash that subscribe button, click that like button as well, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember, it's cool to be kind.